Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown of one of my favorite bands. Today we're going to be talking about a controversial black metal band, Nargaroth. What can you say about these guys or this guy? For the most part, it's been one-man band. Has had some session players with him, but the man behind Nargaroth used to be called Canwolf. Now he goes by the acronym ASH. I can't remember his actual name, but yeah, he started out as Canwolf, then decided to change his name to Ash once he wanted to take Nargaroth in a slightly different direction. So a lot of controversy maybe around Nargaroth's early days. Canwolf kind of said they started out earlier than what they might have actually started out, to try to become maybe more cult in the black metal scene. But throw all that out the window. I don't give a shit about any of that kind of stuff. I just care about the music. And Nargaroth has some good fucking tunes. Not all of their albums hit the mark. There are a couple misses in my opinion, but they do have some pretty good ones. All in all, they have 7 actual studio albums. Then they also had 2 EPs that were later released together as a full length, as well as 1 collaboration, which is kind of a full length. So all in all, there's 9 full-length albums that I'm gonna be ranking here from my least favorite down to my favorite. So let's just get right into this and let you know my opinions. So coming in last, number 9, from 2004, Pro Satanica Shooting Angels. This one just didn't really hit the mark with me. I don't really like this album. It's the one Nargaroth album that I don't really ever go back to listen to very often. It's definitely like a stripped down sound, kind of back to basics, very raw black metal. It sounds a lot like old school Dark Throne, but the songwriting's not as good. It's very repetitive. It's just not that interesting of an album. Couple okay songs on here. Black and blasphemic death metal. I Bring My Harvest Home is okay. Like all in all, it's not absolutely terrible, but it's not great either. If you've never heard Nargaroth, don't start with this album. I wouldn't even necessarily bother with this album. But let's get into some better stuff. Coming up next at number 8 from 2007 is actually the follow-up to that one, the album Semper Fidelis. This one is still very much just raw black metal. Sound production is definitely better than on Pro Satanica Shooting Angels. This one is still very repetitive. Doesn't build as great of atmospheres as some other Nargaroth albums did. Like this one is still okay, but once again, it's not one that I find is amazing by any stretch. Like it's okay. There's some okay moments, but to me, it's still only like 6.5 out of 10 probably. Best songs on here: Vereinsamt, Der Leinwen, I Got My Dead Man Sleep. Of course, I can't speak German, so a lot of these pronunciations are going to be butchered. But yeah, all in all, not an excellent album. That's why it's ranked near the bottom of this list. Coming up next at number 7. This one is the collaboration album I was talking about. This is a collaboration with a band called Nichts or Nights. I'm not sure how to say it. This is definitely the oddball in Nargaroth's catalog. This is from 2011. It's called Spectral Visions of Mental Warfare. I'm sure a lot of people would have this ranked last just because of how strange it is, but I like it better than the other 2 albums that I just mentioned. There's a lot of ambient parts, even some like electronic influences, which doesn't really suit Nargaroth necessarily. There are 5 instrumentals, which is a little bit too much, but then there's 3 non-instrumentals, and those 3 songs are really fucking good, so that's why this one's ranked a little higher for me. This album is definitely very Burzum inspired by like different eras. Like there is the 3 songs that aren't instrumentals are very great, like atmospheric black metal songs. Very different to other stuff that Nargaroth has done. My favorite songs are A Whisper Underneath the Bark of Old Trees. The title track, Spectral Visions of Mental Warfare, is great too. But yeah, it's just a little bit of an inconsistent album because of some of those electronic moments. That's not for me. I do like some of the ambient stuff. Some of that suits it. But the electronic stuff, I can do without personally. Maybe if you like it, more power to you. But just not my thing. That's why this one's coming in at number 7. Moving it right along now. From here on out, these ones are actually pretty enjoyable. So yeah, those first 3 are maybe hit or miss. But from here on out, the top 6 I do actually like and I still listen to. So number 6 is his most recent, Era of Threnity from 2017. This one is definitely better production than any other Nargaroth album. It has a more modern sound. Kind of mixes in a lot of different styles. There's a lot of variation in these songs, different influences. There's even like some Spanish guitar parts, but it works. Like this is maybe experimental, but I like what he did here. Brings in some elements of black and roll and even some like classic heavy metal. But all in all, like this is a pretty good album. Favorite songs: As Orphans Drifting in a Desert Night, Dawn of Epiphany, Conjunction Underneath the Alpha Wheel. Very strange song titles. Definitely has got a unique mind, Ash, at this point, writing some different kind of lyrics. For this kind of music. Like Nargaroth has been able to change style from album to album and make it work, and this one really does fucking work. Good song on here, Manchmal Wenn Sie schlaft. It's a nice long one. For some reason he put it on this album twice. It's basically the same. There's like slight variations with the different version with like some different drumming, I suppose, but that's my one knock on this album. I wish it was a different song instead of the same song near the beginning of the album than near the end, especially when it's like a 17-minute song. But other than that, this is still a good album. When Regan Leaped is a good song. All in all, pretty enjoyable album. This one's more like 7.5 out of 10. Now let's move it on to number 4. The controversial one that people either love or hate this album. For me, it's his 4th best. Black Metalist Krieg, A Dedication Monument. I feel like this album is a bit understood. Like, yeah, some of the songs are very stripped down, kind of dumbed down black metal. The lyrics are not the best, but this is his tribute to old school black metal. There's a lot of cover songs on here, and he's just inspired by what came before him, and is doing a tribute to it. So it's not necessarily that he's trying to say these are his original ideas that he created this black metal. Like, a lot of people maybe didn't like this because he was just trying to cash in on the whole like Burzum and Mayhem thing and like the murder of Euronymous, because there's even a song like about the day Burzum killed Mayhem. But nonetheless, you take that out, that aspect of it out, it is a very inconsistent album because of the cover songs and then some originals, but there are still some really good moments on here. Of course, the most well-known song on here is the title track, Black Metalist Krieg. Of course, it's very easy, simple guitar riff over and over again, and just keep saying Black Metalist Krieg. Very dumbed down black metal for a beginner song. But take that out, and there's still some great songs on here. 7 Tears Are Flowing to the River, absolutely amazing, long, epic. And there's a great cover, Gates of Eternity, a Moonblood song, another great German black metal band. And one of my favorites on the album is Amarok Zorn de Lam Part 3. Actually got some clean singing in there too, and it just really works. This album does have great moments, so don't write it off just because some of the songs maybe aren't like the most intellectual. So what? This is just a dedication to old school black metal, and there's still good moments on here. That's why it's coming in at number 4. Up next at number 3, I've actually got the debut from 1999, Herbstleyd. This one is a very great album for a debut. You can really hear the Burzum influence here. That was definitely one of Canwolf's main influences. It's got a really nice like folky intro, then into some really great black metal. The vocals are very harsh and awesome. This album still really brings out melancholy, and there's despair just felt throughout the vocals and the riffs. Like, some of the riffs are really simple, but it creates this great like medieval atmosphere, just the way it was recorded. You really hit the mark with this one. I really like this album a lot. There's a couple long epics are my favorite songs on the album. The intro and Herbstleyd kind of combined together. It's very long and awesome. Amarok Zorn de Lam. I was just talking about part 3 that's on Black Metalist Krieg. This is the initial version, and it's not the different version. It's not the same song. It's just like part 1, then part 3 was on the other album. But yeah, part 1 here is fucking great too. All in all, very enjoyable black metal album, especially for a debut. Probably like an 8.5 out of 10 from me. And yeah, let's get into even better stuff, the top 2 now. So number 2, this one is kind of cheating, but I wanted to talk about this anyway. This is where I was talking about there were 2 EPs that came out. Rasluka Part 2, which actually came out in 2002, and Rasluka Part 1, which came out in 2004. I don't know why Part 2 came out before Part 1. But originally, I think Canwolf intended for this to be a full album, but it's just the way that it was released. And it ended up getting released as a full length in 2010 or 2011. So I'm still including it on this list. I usually don't include EPs, but looking at this as a whole, Rasluka, it definitely deserves a high spot on this list because these 2 EPs, even like individually, are goddamn amazing, but put together even more so. Just a great fucking album. Each EP on its own is 4 songs. Both of them have like a shorter intro and then 3 longer songs. On Rasluka Part 2, which I do think Part 2 is a little bit better than Part 1, but altogether it's still fucking amazing. Favorite songs on Part 2 are Und ich sah son Mimmer Haben and A Schind Brief de Prometheus. My favorite songs on Part 1 are Rasluka and Wo die Chronischen. Forgive my pronunciation again. Just all in all, these EPs are absolutely essential if you're into Nargaroth. Don't just dismiss them because they're only EPs. They're absolutely awesome. Definitely deserves a listen. That just leaves one album, my favorite Nargaroth album. Easy choice for me here from 2009, Jahreszeiten. This is absolute masterpiece. His crowning achievement. Black metal masterpiece. It's got like 1 prologue and then 4 songs, each one representing a different season, and each song really evokes different emotions and different feelings, different atmospheres on each one, but put all together as a whole, it's just goddamn amazing. The 4 actual songs are all very long. Frühling or Spring actually is like really upbeat, happy, bright black metal, if you can call it that. Like, there's not too many black metal songs that sound this happy, minus the vocals. The vocals are still harsh, but the riffing is very bright and like bright and happy, like the beginning of spring, and that's what the feeling it's supposed to evoke. My favorite song on the album, Sommer. The drumming on this song is fucking nuts. He actually got a session drummer in that's amazing. Like, the song might be a little bit repetitive, but it is very great. The drumming, once you hit about the 9-minute mark, there's about 2-3 minutes of just absolutely insane double kicks with little like triplets or probably quadruples, actually, not just triplets, but like crazy fucking drum beats all over. Great riffs in this song. All in all, awesome. Herbst or Fall is full of sorrow and despair. It's like 20 minutes long. It's a very slow build-up, great atmosphere. There's actually some clean singing at the end of this song as well. And then Winter is just your typical icy black metal, but combining all 4 of these songs together into one awesome album. This is his crowning achievement. I fucking love this album so much. Even if you heard like Black Metalist Krieg and were turned off, didn't want to listen to any more Nargaroth, just go listen to Jahreszeiten. It's a great piece of black metal. Anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. Let me know down below what you thought of my video. What's your favorite Nargaroth album? Do you like him at all? Anyways, yeah, until next time, click on like, click on subscribe. Hammerheart Metal Reviews, out!